I'm Sarah Russell,
I'm JQ Walker.
Mint, and we are
the Neurodivergent Report, a research-based podcast by and for neurodivergent brains.
In each episode, we'll explore topics relating to neurodiversity and coping strategies by reviewing the literature and discussing current topics.
We will also have interview episodes where we sit down with experts in the field and listeners like you, with the hope that together we can all learn to heal in community.
However you are able to engage, thank you for being here.
Yes. And so I watched the episode that you guys did earlier, and then we're following you on Instagram, so your stuff comes up on our feed, and so it feels weird to be such a fan of great stuff, but seriously, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been really cool too to see some of your people trickle in and start watching our stuff and be active in our
Good.
comments, and I'm like, oh, that's so nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give it a nice big
So-
push again this time. So
I could also be a little bit more planful about sending you actual things.
that's
Instead of just
what-
being hey, tags.
yeah, no, whatever is fine. I think that on Instagram I have something I want to say it's maybe twice as big of a following as last time we were on. I'm not
Wow.
sure.
So your book
Congrats.
push, your book
Thanks.
launch really did a lot for you.
Yeah.
That's
Instagram
awesome.
really, Instagram really picked up for whatever reason. TikTok algorithm hates me now. It's okay. I'll live.
Yeah.
Well,
But
they've been
there's-
bought and sold, so
Yes, that's the thing. As far as I can tell, they're the ones who pay me too. I get paid per view there, so it's not shocking. But
Yeah.
but I'll get 5 or 6 times as many views on Instagram, and I have 3 times as many followers on TikTok. So who knows?
Yeah.
I think everybody's happier if you try not to figure out algorithms.
you know what I just said the other day? I'm pressed enough about trying to talk to people the way that they want. I have no
Yeah.
time for the computers and trying to please the algorithm and learn about SEO. I'm just gonna keep sharing information the way that
Yeah.
humans should consume it.
Yeah.
Right.
Best practices, guys. or
Right.
folks. Anyway, okay, so that's enough riffraff. Hello. Welcome to the Neurodivergent Report. I am here again with Soul Smith and one of my I'm just gonna start again. I'm so sorry. See, I
That's
did this again.
Take 2.
Okay,
Let's do
yeah.
it.
I'm gonna say less stuff this time. Ready?
Okay.
Whatever you want, man.
All right. Hi. I'm Sarah. Welcome to the Neurodivergent Report. And I'm here today with our very special guest, Soul Smith.
Hi. How's it going?
Yeah, no,
it's really
it's
exciting
okay.
to be back.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
also here, JQ, and I've not met you yet, Soul, so I'm super excited to get to talk to you. And we got a lot of stuff, looks like, to cover today. So
Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah.
The first time we
Jump
had
ahead.
Soul on, I think it was episode 5.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to that one, it was all about his brand new book. The Autistic's Guide to Self-Discovery. I thought so. I just wanted to check. And you've been super busy with a book launch and PR stuff and lots of
Yeah.
social media. So we're really grateful that you took some time for us.
Well, I'm really excited about it. Thank you.
So, JQ, you don't know who Soul is. So
I don't. I'd love to learn, and if only there was some way I could just learn about him, maybe directly from the source. But yeah.
It would be nice.
No, so we have a little bio here.
Yeah.
Just a sort of, Saul is a big content creator right now, certified autism specialist, as I already mentioned, author of The Autistic's Guide to Self-Discovery, and a founder of one of the world's largest support networks for autistic and ADHD adults. What is that support network?
Yeah. Yeah, the NeuroSpicy Community. It's a online community where we have message boards and online courses that are full of material, and we have support group meetings all week long. Right now, I think we're offering 14 support group meetings a week, and we're trying to expand that because our membership has grown so much. It's just been a really wonderful project. We started it 1 year ago this month, and it's really exciting to see that it's grown some legs and has some staying power. We've gotten, like I said, really big. It's been just a wonderful project to be a part of. I've met so many people around the world from that community.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I say it's at neurospicycommunity.com, and yeah, we'd love to have you guys come check it out.
Display your shirt.
Yeah.
This, yeah,
Neurospicy.
You are
yeah,
the promo, baby.
Yeah.
that's right.
um, okay, so we are not going to talk about your book again, as wonderful as the strategies were.
Mhm,
That's been done. So today we're going to talk about like back to school season, specifically around neurodivergent kids. Um,
mhm.
yeah. So first on the list here is autonomy in the classroom, which is a really big topic, I think, to just like jump right into.
It is, yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that too
back
ambitious to start with?
no, it's pretty big, but, like, just to, I guess, to swoop in on the topic in general, uh, I have 2 kids who started school, a high schooler and a middle schooler, and they are very different kinds of neurodivergent, both of them. Um, and then just this week, my wife and I went and dropped off our son at college. He's transferring to a college about 7 hours away by car, so that's kind of hard for us, and it's really new for him. And again, a different kind of neurodivergent guy himself, and it's just interesting to see how the 3 of them, navigate things differently and have different expectations of themselves and of what school is going to be, and, all of them really go at it intensely in their own ways. Um, whether it's from an ADHD dominant way or an autistic dominant way, or from a really perfectionist standpoint, they all are really challenged by going back to school and having, the structure is helpful. And at the same time, it's this entire system that you have to conform to and become a part of. And you can see the constraints that it puts on them. You can see how hard it is to make that change from summer to school, and it's hard to get through. Um, so yeah, autonomy in the classroom. I mean, um, just it's one of my big things since I started teaching is that I feel like people need to have a little bit more autonomy. That our kids are um, very very bright students, very capable, and that throughout their time in school, we have noticed that our favorite teachers are the ones who don't really follow the rule book. They're the ones who kind of see each student and see what they're into and what they're capable of, and they give them the space that they need to work on the things that they want to work on without having to keep everything quite so regimented and regular as we know that teachers are instructed to do these days. So it's that sort of, special ingredient that the chef adds into the soup that they don't write in the ingredients. Like it's just that
Yeah.
extra something that they put in, and that seems to be like what makes a teacher great. And I think part of that is just like respecting the needs of the student and letting the student have some sort of autonomy over the way that they're going to learn, so that it's not just this, rigid system of this is who you need to be now, you know?
Yeah. So I guess for teachers listening or like staff, administration, anyone listening like that, how would you like what does autonomy in the classroom look like then for students?
I mean, it's really difficult. We're in a system that doesn't consider that at all. And the teachers know
Individualistic
that.
needs. Yeah.
Yeah, the teachers know that,
Choice,
I mean,
not
every yeah,
an
every teacher I've met that like is in it for the right reasons. I've never met a teacher who was like, I really want to get people to conform and lose their creativity and spirit,
Yeah.
and I don't want them to ever like reading again. And like none of them are doing that. Like they're all in it for the same good reasons, and then they're put into.
as a former professor yourself, you've met a lot of teachers as well. I
Yeah,
just want
yeah,
to, like,
totally.
interject really quickly.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's just like they go in there and then just are facing these funding problems, and they're facing giant class sizes, and they're facing every possible challenge that you can imagine in, trying to manage 35 or 40 people. And that's not easy to do. So it is hard to say, that, I'm going to step in here and say, you need to give them more autonomy. But it is at the same time, and I think that teachers know this, that one of the fundamental problems we have with our school system is that it's built on the idea of measuring education and making it efficient. And those are two things you just really can't do with learning.
Yeah.
That learning is not an efficient process, and it really can't always be seen. It can't always be measured. A lot is going on behind the scenes that will come to life at the right moment that you just can't really observe, and you have to trust the process a lot. So being able to sort of like sit back and let students, I think a lot of it is, a lot of what you can interpret as trying to give students more autonomy might be taking off some of the pressure that we have all the time about, like, if you don't turn this assignment in, then you're never going to go to college. Just like the kind of rhetoric that makes it feel like everything's an emergency.
The
My
shame and
kids, my
fear-based
kids are like
Yeah.
real big
motivation.
time rule followers, and they'll just be like, Dad, if I don't get this in, it's just going to be. And I'm like, I don't care what your grade is right now. And it's hard to explain to them because they're taking it very seriously. And there's nothing wrong with that, but in the big picture, um, it's there's nothing worth the kind of stress that and anxiety that they will have sometimes. And something I tell my students all the time is there's no such thing as an academic emergency.
Mm.
Like, there really isn't. Like, and
Yeah.
yet we've manufactured this culture of hurry and stress, and it's really makes the environment feel hostile. And I feel like there could be a lot more um, give on that. I mean, like, something that's maybe, you guys are younger than me, but what blows my mind is that the kids turn in homework online. Okay, but they have to do on like midnight that night. So now the school is deciding what you do with your spare time.
Mhm.
It's a little bit different if you have the leeway to, what, tonight I'm going to blow this off and go play with my friends, and I'm just going to wake up early and do it tomorrow. Like, even that gives you a little bit more of a decision to make. Or if
Yeah.
you're in a block schedule and your homework is due every 2 days, it gives you some sort of like governance over how you're going to spend your time. But when you get your homework assigned to you at 3 p.m. and it's due by midnight, and you have 5 other classes going on, it, it really decides you're going home and you're working on this, and that's how your life is going to be today, and that makes a decision for the whole family. And I find that really difficult to accept, frankly.
I fully agree. That would be awful for anybody, but for obvious reasons, especially for neurodivergent students. And it's
Yeah.
the kind of thing where, like, at least with that, like, there's a simple fix of just making it due a minute before the class starts or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah.
Right. I mean, it was just nice to have, you have to bring it in, like, that just kind of solved that problem a lot. But
But
it's
even further, like, I would agree with you where, like, even if it's okay, it's a due on this date, like, it is not the end of the world if someone still does the work, puts actual quality into it and gets it in a little bit later than rushing to get it done or using AI or doing whatever they need to do to meet the deadline instead of doing what they need to do to learn.
Yes, no,
So,
that's
yeah.
exactly it. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Because a lot of the lessons that we're teaching is that it's better to, yeah, to do
Yeah.
something like use AI and get it done. It's better to create all of this stress in your system and get it done than it is to just like hang back and manage the things that you need to manage. I mean, I have, college students coming to me, and I'll get these emails that say, I am so sorry, I'm not usually this lazy. My daughter was in the ICU this week and I had to take care of my mom and I'm like, whoa, you're lazy. That's the problem. Like, they really have internalized this idea that you do not let life get in the way of your work, and that's on you. And I just, like, every college I've worked for has a policy about like late work, about accepting late work. So much percentage gets off per day or whatever. And I never once enforce it. I always tell them, if you get it in before grades are due, I'm going to grade it. I understand that your lives are stressful. I understand that things come up, and people say, well, what if they're lying to you? What if they take advantage? And I don't care. It
Yeah.
doesn't make a difference to me.
It
Like,
takes more energy to police that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, we get in these discussions sometimes about what do you consider excused absence as an inexcused absence, and I, I am not going to do that. Like I feel like it's respectful to tell somebody like, hey, I can't make it in today. That's cool. But beyond that, yeah, I don't want to sit and have to judge excuses all day long, and I don't want people to feel like they have to justify themselves to me. Like I don't feel that way to anybody else, frankly. And yeah, anyway, at a college age, it's just you can see that they're a product of everything they've sort of come through, and they're just housing all of this stress and concern about how they're going to be perceived and how this is going to affect their future. And I just think that like what schools should be doing, and I understand that this is a total overhaul of what we are doing. I think that schools should be concentrating on giving kids a happy childhood. Like, that should
Who
be
thought
it.
that would be like a controversial thing to
I
say?
know,
Oh my
right?
god.
Yeah, a
Oh,
happy childhood and access to information, and then on top of that, I think the number one curriculum thing should be information literacy. But hopefully we're getting there. I don't know yet.
it's an uphill
Um,
battle.
yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
I'm very
So
prescriptive for all these things. I do have a doctorate in education, so there's
Yeah.
that, Um, so
I
once in a while I
appreciate
have to remind myself, I
Like, I
guess I'm
did
an
that. I
authority.
did that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
do appreciate the like criticism of the system though, because psychology has really done a lot about learning about like developmental stages and what we need to do to develop healthy brains,
Right.
and untraumatized children. And yet we haven't really adapted society to prioritize untraumatized children. So that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
I mean, I
so,
read something a couple years ago when we were thinking of PDA, um, and it was said that the average American teenager has less control over what they do every day than the average American prisoner.
Prisoner. Yeah.
eh,
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's really grim. I mean, first of all, we shouldn't have prisoners, but second of all, like, when your kid feels that, you know, dark oppression about like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna go sit in that room again for all those hours," it really does feel like you just are completely out of your control of yourself. I mean, I think grown-ups forget what that felt like, or maybe it felt worse for me, um, which is possible since autistics don't filter out the same information. But I remember sitting in classes and watching that clock and just being like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot believe how
This
much
much
time there is
left.
left. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's something where I look back and I know I can feel how it feels in my body. I can feel like I
Hmm.
remember what my thoughts were, but at the same time having it be just, well, this is what you have to do. There's no other choice. And like everyone else is doing this and they're fine. So you just gotta get through. You just gotta get through. And
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that can do plenty of damage to your nervous system over time, to your ability to understand yourself and your needs,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely.
mhm, yeah.
Definitely.
And there's an argument to be made that that was the intention, for educated factory workers.
Right.
It's
I
best
very
if
much.
they don't
Yeah.
I mean, office
prioritize their
culture is
needs.
very similar too, like corporate
But
America
again, we
generally.
we don't like have a ton of factories here anymore. That's not the education system that we need here anymore.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, our education and our working world is based on very much the Industrial Revolution really designed it, and it really is. And part of the assumption is that people are interchangeable parts, right? That like they all need the same thing to learn the same lesson at the same time. And I mean, you get one neurodivergent kid in there, and it shows, in exaggeration, what is going on between every other student, that they're not all learning the same thing at the same time.
Yeah.
And it becomes more obvious with you know the differences that can be seen. But yeah, it's just really is built on that sort of like critical assumption that we are like not only acting like a factory, but that we're also creating children like a fact. And like if we just put them through this number of things, they go through all these steps, they're going to come out a perfect person. It hasn't worked yet, but we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep trying with every single kid
We
because
just have to make the system better. That's the
right,
problem. Like, let's
right.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
we need to check on them more and do more assessments,
yeah,
and yeah, and spend all our time assessing instead of letting them,
learning and having
yeah,
fun,
letting them like
exploring themselves in the world.
right, right, exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been talking
Oh,
about choice. We've been talking about PDA, stands for ugh, pervasive
Pathological
pathol-
demand
demand avoidance.
avoidance.
Yeah,
Oh, pathological. Okay, sometimes people call it pervasive demand
drive.
avoidance.
Yeah, no,
Drive for
drive for
okay, sorry.
autonomy.
Hold on.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
need to start again.
Yeah, okay,
My brain.
you're
is
fine.
that is that just as a push to not pathologize it then?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Sort
Yeah.
of reduce stigma. Yeah. So, oh gosh. Do you want you say it? Because I don't
I'm
know.
saying you sounded like that was like, this is a
It's
strong
fine.
segue. I don't know where we're going, but like love it.
You were on board. Okay, I'll say it again. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
PDA stands for pathological demand avoidance, which I hate and a lot of the community hates. So they're trying to rebrand it as pervasive demand for autonomy. Right. There's the link to autonomy. Because in my mind it
There
was
you
so
go.
strong, but I didn't bring y'all with me. Um, anyway, and that's really important for people of all ages and all neurotypes. Choice is like one of those basic needs in the Maslow's hierarchy. I forget which one exactly, but it's like kind of somewhere at the top, but still important. Okay. Um, Obviously, we're talking about this because parents and educators both care about their children. They care that everyone is having a good time. We know that children learn better and behave better when they're having a good time. And so, I mean, I have really seen as a parent that teachers do at least try to get to like do things. It's not always successful. You can't always engage that every kid or like limit behaviors on everyone, but I think we do try. Yeah, this is a good segue. So I also worked in a school, and one of the ways that we would engage with kids sort of who were struggling with a behavior was to give them a choice that they would prefer. So like usually it was going to the room and playing Uno, because Uno would be like a special interest, or like sometimes kids would get like time on their little, depending on their IEP,
Right,
to
right.
actually play Sims. Um,
Well,
Something
that's,
that
I
might
mean,
be their special interest.
no, and that's a good
Really
idea, having something like that they can choose to go do something like that because I mean, for one thing, especially if they have issues with attention, that's going to get some kind of dopamine going. That's
Yeah.
going to help them with their attention, and just kind of giving some space from all of the structure um, is a really good idea.
mhm.
It's
Grounding.
hard. Yeah, grounding. It's hard to stay in that system for any neurodivergent person. They're not co-regulating with the other students as well. They're not, they don't have as much mirror neuron activity. And yeah, if you have that persistent drive for autonomy, um, it's it's a nervous system reaction that your brain is telling you that somebody's telling you to do something is essentially dangerous, that you're going to be criticized, you're going to feel fear from having lost your control. And so having a choice of like when to work or even those limited choices, what order are you going to work in? Do you want to take a break? What time do you want to take the break? Just even the limited choices like that can reduce a lot of that resistance. Um,
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because
it's
it's like
like
unless
something that has always really bothered me is that like I would always get yelled at for fidgeting, and a couple years ago, I actually got a call from my youngest daughter's teacher, and like had to talk about her behavior. And one of the things that she was complaining about was how she was fidgeting with an eraser in class, and I'm like, "An eraser?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "That is a pretty quiet thing to fidget with." She
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, it's could potentially distract the other kids." And I was like, "Yeah, but when you fidget, it actually really helps you pay attention." Studies have shown that it increases your ability to pay attention by like 29%. I'm fidgeting with things right now. Um, And like, it's about the, like, smallest accommodation you can give. If somebody's, like, obviously making a lot of noise or something, okay, you're distracting people. But again, we're assuming that everybody learns best in the quiet. Everybody learns best without distraction. And, that's, like, it's not true for ADHDers. It's not true for, so just giving people the choice to fidget with something, giving them, having a box of fidgets at the front of the classroom can make them feel a little bit more in charge of their day. Um, yeah, we're just behind on all of that because we've just
An
been
eraser.
groomed in the system of, face up here, feet on the ground, and all of that, um, which is so hard to pull off.
Ah, and it's such a shame because it really is what you just explained, such a small thing and really truly something that should not affect anybody else. Well, like, I shouldn't say that because someone else with ADHD might be like, "Oh, like, I don't know," but there
Too
there
much
are there are
visual.
ways around that. If that were to be an issue, like, if someone fidgeting with something's an issue for someone else, then there's a workaround for so and I know it's gonna be highly individualized and might take anywhere from 5 minutes to if it's a more complicated case an hour or 2 to figure out a situation that works well for everybody, but a classroom is an environment with a bunch of complex organisms in it who are all just trying to do their best to get by. And yeah, it's gonna sometimes take a little bit of I do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like I'm
Yeah.
talking in a
So
circle.
in a
No,
family
definitely.
unit, like
Yeah.
in a family unit, there
Yeah.
like mine or Souls, there could be lots of different types of neurodivergence, and so the needs of all of those people are often constantly in conflict. And so we're like, okay, well, you get to be accommodated right now, and like it'll be your turn to get
Yeah.
like have a perfect environment for you later. And making sure that everybody knows when their time is coming can also help feel more comfortable, give a little bit of that agency back.
Yeah, it can be really frustrating, when those needs get, yeah, put in conflict with each other because, I mean, my kids can be pretty rigid about, "This is how things are going, and this is what I need to go like," and once in a while, you just kinda have to make the value judgment that, like, I think you're gonna be able to adapt to this change better than she can right now. And we're going to try to restore things, but at this moment, we have to, we're working together and we have to do this. And especially when you're out of your environment, if you're traveling or something,
Ooh.
um, being able to do that it's hard. Um, but just kind of like looking at everybody's needs, when I think of a classroom, I've been in several different classrooms, all growing up and teaching. Um, and sometimes they have big windows and sometimes they don't. But there seems to be the pervading idea now that the less distraction, the better. So like the less stuff on the walls, and it's better if there's
Oh,
no windows. I know. And for me, I do like a quiet environment as far as like I hate overly loud music or overly loud discussion or overly loud like yard noise. But I don't mind distraction. I actually think it really helps me because my attention is going to wander. And if it has something to wander to that has nothing to do with me, something outside a window, something going on at the other side of the classroom, my attention can then come back to my work without it being too much of a distraction, like really. But if it's something like everything's being super controlled and it's quiet, the only thing that my attention can do is go to something internal
well,
that
inward.
has
Yeah.
everything to do with me, and then it can stay there. My attention can completely stay on that thing and go. I can be ruminating, I can be stressed out, I can be obsessing over how what kind of a job I'm doing on this or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
so I feel like and of course it's not universal, but I do think that we need to be considering the idea that people who have attention problems, that less stimulation does not tame an attention that is moving very, very quickly, and that in fact more stimulation can give you better control over it. Um, but really, when we talk about attention and control and all of these things, a lot of executive function issues, which is what these boil down to, come down to emotional regulation too. And like, when's the last time we talked about that in school? like, is that something you guys covered? Emotional regulation or emotional
No,
intelligence?
and
No,
Yeah,
unfortunately, they
but
are trying to move away from that.
right.
post-COVID, they did add a ton of social and emotional learning
Yes,
curriculum, SEL for short. Um,
Okay.
but now it's
but
being, like,
that's
ousted recently.
sure. Well, that's just a temporary fad, I think.
Yeah.
I really firmly believe that. I didn't even learn about that concept until, um, much later. It's like a autism specific thing. Um,
Yeah,
right now,
Yeah,
as we
but
know.
yeah, it's been, there was a study a couple years ago that showed that it has a stronger correlation with ADHD, um,
Mm,
that it could be that it's, like, very ADHD heavy. Autistics really show it more because they're, um,
they're
not able
studying
to.
it in
Yes.
them.
Right, exactly. They're not as able to sort of, like, veil what's going on as the
mm,
pure ADHDers, but anyway, like, it's of course, it's hard to say, but it is one of those concepts that, like, when a parent learns about it, that it makes their whole kid make sense. And and, like, it's you can see, like, you see the relief that, like, "Oh, this," it
yeah.
makes them make sense, and then, adapting to it is still really hard. It's a very hard road, and especially if you have 2 parents, and if one parent isn't on the same page, if one parent is saying, "No, you're just not being authoritarian enough," um, that's exactly the kind of thing that PDA reacts very badly to. And it's, rather than being able to sort of step back from our initial reaction of they're being defiant and recognize, okay, they're having a nervous system reaction, and we need to slow down, talk to them, hear them out, see if is there a choice we can offer right now, you know? So it's a hard thing to manage. It takes a lot of trial and error, because everybody's very
Also
different.
scripting. Like, you
Yeah.
have to have these choices planned out ahead of time because when tensions are high and people are
Mm,
saying names at each other, that's not the time to figure out, like, "Okay, what's the list of things that are maybe gonna calm them down right now?"
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Once you're
yeah,
emotionally flooded, it's really hard for anybody to, get really wise about their behavior. Yeah. So scripting is really helpful.
yeah. Yeah, and we even talked about special interests sort of as strengths a little bit. Well, we talked about trying to pull out sort of the special interests as a means of getting cooperation.
Mhm.
I don't even know if I like that language, because really, really, we want everyone to be happy,
yeah.
and that includes
Right.
the kid. And cooperation doesn't always mean they're happy,
Mhm,
because
That's a good
as
point.
some kids learn, oh, I'm not going to get my needs met unless I do everything that they
mm,
say. If
mhm.
I upset this person, then I'm not going to get my needs met. So that can be dangerous both for caregiver or teacher. That happens everywhere.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Power
Good point.
dynamics. Anyway, we've also been talking a ton about how exhausting school is for children and adults. And we haven't really named like the main reasons for why it's so exhausting. I mean, obviously, the external demands and the lack of flexibility is for sure exhausting, but also the performative nature of
Mhm.
being a person in a classroom for 8 hours performing human functions,
Yeah.
Performing
patience,
Yeah.
human mode.
compassion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it is hard.
A lot.
I mean, and when you're masking through it, it's really hard. You're trying to fit in, you're trying to, be accepted. You're just constantly watching yourself, cognitively exhausting. Um, and that's where, we are holding ourselves back. We're holding ourselves on a tight leash, and that's where we get the phenomenon of going home and experiencing restraint collapse, where you just
Mhm.
have no life at home, where you just sort of, have a meltdown, or just completely slump down onto the couch and wanna scroll or binge watch something because there's nothing else you have the energy
All
for.
you can do, yeah.
Yeah, because you've put all of your energy into that behavior, and yeah, either the grown-ups or the students can experience that. Um, and it's a hard thing to get through.
It can even
It's
be, like, stuff that you enjoy doing too, because even after recording every single one of these episodes, like,
mhm.
I'm like, and, like, I let
Yeah,
my face fall because like, you try to hold it still so that
yeah. No, exactly,
and
like,
that causes tension, and so,
I
yeah,
love
even
coaching,
things you
but, like,
enjoy.
I'll have a day where I have, like, 7 meetings, and I'm like, "What was I thinking when I put this
Yeah.
schedule together?" Like, it goes way over my boundaries. I knew this when I was arranging it, but I was trying to be nice, and now I'm just gonna be worthless tonight, and because it does, it takes a lot of energy to have that much interaction, for sure. Yeah, you're right, even if it's something you like doing, um, and we just as a culture right now, um we have not been trained or taught that it's even okay to have activities that we do that is restorative for ourselves. There's very few things that are sort of um,
It's for rich
commonly
people.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's hard to um, to find what it is that's going to be something that you can do after work that's going to be restorative and let you have come with some extra energy the next day rather than just recover, which is different
Mhm.
Yeah.
than being
But
restorative. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's paramount, like, we need to find those things,
Yeah.
because if we don't, then over a sustained period of time, we sort of reach burnout,
Right.
or
Right.
we realize, "Oh, shoot, I'm 3 months into burnout." That's
Yes.
actually more
Yeah.
accurate.
Right.
Um, and your kids are a bit older than mine, and so I wonder if there are any it 1, have your kids ever sort of reached a burnout or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
And I
similar?
guess too is what that looks like, I'm
Yeah, and then
assuming.
also what does that look like? How
Yeah.
can I watch out for
Yeah.
that?
For
Obviously,
sure.
it's
My
gonna be a
my
little personalized, but
my 16-year-old when she started high school was at a real low point. And we did when the pandemic started and going through some of middle school, we did a lot of homeschooling because there was a lot of anxiety and stuff. But she really wanted to go to high school, and she found it stifling. It was that schedule. It was the sustained nature of it. She just found it stifling. And one day, what she said to me that was so heartbreaking is um, she said, "All of my friends, it feels like they get to school and their life is still going on, and for me, I get to school and it's like my life stops and I have to wait 7 hours before my life can start again." And I was like, "Oh my god, that's my that's my work life."
Yeah.
It really hit home and hard. And we sort of recognized it, and I was like, "Well, do you want to homeschool? Like, we can do that." Because she just really felt like she wasn't it really felt like she didn't want to do this, but she was determined. And what ended up happening was her really finding a better sense of community and a better sense of herself through the Rubik's Cube competition scene. Like
She does
yeah,
Rubik's Cubes! Yo!
she does. She does
I
Rubik's
do
Cube.
too!
Oh, do
Let's
you really?
go!
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your
Yeah.
fastest time?
Like 30 seconds.
That's pretty good for
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like,
She
this has been, like, a more recent thing.
No, that's
But
great. No, yeah, yeah, no, for me
yeah.
too. I'm my fastest is like 42 seconds. I might
Yeah.
have gotten
so
a
much
38,
cooler
but
than
or I might
me.
have made that up.
Yeah.
Her fastest is 6 seconds.
That's
And
that is, like, the level
yeah.
where I'm like, "That would be so sick to be at." That's
Yeah.
amazing.
No, it's amazing. And so like we went to World Championship this year and she competes in lots of different events and
Oh my gosh.
yeah, and she's up there in a few of them. I mean, up there in like the top 100 for a few of them. And but the thing is this community is lots of neurodivergent kids, and they all support each other. They all want the best out of each other. It's
Yeah.
like it's a competition, but nobody's really competing. The top 2 or 3 people, yeah, they want to beat each other, but other than that, everybody just wants to see you beat your record, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so my daughter really found her people there, and it kind of taught her more about how to be social, and it gave her confidence. And she started a Rubik's Cube club at the high school, and she just really found her voice, and she's very, very comfortable in high school now. She has a 4.93 grade point average
Wow.
because she really wants to go to this particular college that has a really good Rubik's Cubing club. So
Oh
she will
my
do
gosh.
anything. And and she said that like by studying and um practicing on her cubes that she has learned how to study school stuff, that she's learned how to learn essentially. And I mean, she does 300 solves a day, um, tens of thousands a year. And so the kind of dedication she has, the kind of hard work she puts into it, it's fantastic that it translates over to chemistry or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very impressive, but it's one of those things where, yeah, the special interest has been her key to getting out of that burnout, getting out of that feeling of just no power, no voice, no autonomy. Um,
Reigniting some motivation as well.
yeah, exactly. And I think that it's important, younger kids, it's going to be hard, but as you get older, it's important to recognize that you need to have a better definition of yourself than the school is going to give you. And we need to have some sort of confidence in that and knowing ourselves and being interested in something and having some sort of pride in something that we can do that we like, so that, yeah, we go to our classes, we get our grades, but that doesn't touch how happy I am with the stuff that I do for me, and that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to foster. It's hard to stay out of your kid's way, which is kind of my whole parenting philosophy from day one, is to stay out of the way as much as I can, because I feel like the normal way to go about it would be, don't work on your Rubik's cubes until you've done all your homework, young lady,
Mm.
you know, or like you need to pull back during the school year. But it just would have been exactly the wrong thing for me to do. It would have taken away her sense of agency. It would have taken away her sense of purpose. And I would have really screwed it up by saying, focus on the school. Sometimes you need to not focus on the thing that's challenging you, and you need to turn away from it and focus on something else.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's important for kids to, somewhere in there, get to know themselves, get in touch with something that they feel pride in, something they're good at, um, and that they can get, you know, a sense of accomplishment through. And then that way, the school, it just turns down the volume. It just turns down the volume and makes it not such a threat, makes it not so scary.
Which is
And
another reason why you would wanna turn away from it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And it just makes it where, like, okay, you can play the school game, but it's not as scary of a game as it felt like before, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's tough because when a kid is really well, when anyone is really struggling with their PDA, it's because their nervous system is super dysregulated. Okay. And so the only way to really help that is to give in and give
Right.
the rest, you know? And that can be so super frustrating to parents or teachers who just want to see progress from the kids, even maybe more than the kids themselves. It could be really frustrating when there's like not progress happening. But really, the best thing that you can do to support your kid, at least in my experience, my limited experience, is reduce the demands and just slowly start adding them back, sort of once the nervous system is recovered, once you notice that your child is able to make decisions again, once they're self-motivated to do things on their own, like that they enjoy. If you start seeing that comic book that they haven't had in a while, or now they're playing that game that they haven't had in a while, that's
Yeah.
some signs that like they're starting to do better and maybe they can handle a little bit more now.
Yeah, definitely. And, in the other route of really cracking the whip with a PDA kid, any parent knows that that doesn't work, because you see, like, for example, maybe they love their iPad and you go, well, if you don't do this, I'll take away your iPad, and then just throw that iPad on the ground and break it. Like, there is no negotiating with them when they're having one of those reactions, because nothing is more dangerous than them giving up. Nothing is more dangerous in their mind, in their
And
body,
losing control.
in losing control. Yeah, nothing to them is more frightening than that. And you cannot make up some sort of negotiation that they will play with. It's because it's not rational. They are not making a rational decision to defy you. So it's so when you engage with that, you're acting like it's rational, and it
Right.
feels awful,
That you're gonna
you
change their
know?
mind
Yeah.
magically. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're all gonna do that sometimes because we
Yeah.
get frustrated and we fall back on it, and it's
Yeah.
just awful. And then you're embarrassed, and then you need to apologize to your kid. I'm a big proponent of saying, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I
Yeah.
was I was dysregulated. I lost my temper. I was way too upset over that than I should have been. And I do try to make that really clear that apologies to kids is a good idea. Um, because, you know, being an adult isn't easy. And
Mhm.
I feel like
We
sometimes
have
we
to teach
give
them literally everything, and that
right.
includes how to apologize, how and when to
Yeah.
apologize.
Right. Right. No, exactly. Good point.
Yeah. And, we can also talk about self-advocacy now because that totally plays in. Um, you know, we don't know everything as parents and educators, shocking. Um, sometimes they do know more about their lives and the limits that they're approaching, but we're not always ready to hear them. And so, do you, I don't know, do you have any ways that you've encouraged your kids to do self advocacy so that you can receive it, so that you are
Yeah, I mean,
listening?
my kids are terrible at self-advocacy. Like it really is
Mine
something that
too.
yeah, it's something that like scares me sometimes because I feel like I would go up to a teacher and just tell them like, you know, I'm not
Yeah.
coming in tomorrow because of this or that or whatever it is that my problem was. I would speak up for it and my kids will be like, you know, well, she told me that I should use this pen, so I have to use this pen even if it runs out of ink. And I'm like, that's not what she meant. You know,
Yeah.
that's not you know, whatever it is, they just will not want to like they feel like things have been set up in a way that is how it should be and they don't want to bring attention to themselves. So I do really try to explain to them that you know your needs better than anybody else. And if you are having a need, it's probably not a big deal for you to ask for that extension in the work, especially if you're doing a real like you had mentioned before, JQ, that if especially if you're really putting a lot of effort into it, say, I don't want to turn it in half done, making this something I'm proud of. Can I have another week or whatever? That you know your needs better than anybody else. And that a lot of the rules are arbitrary. It's really hard from your sort of kid point of view to discern what assignments are important and which ones aren't sometimes. And
That's why
it's
neurodivergent kids ask so many questions, by the way,
yes,
because 'cause they're
Oh my
just
exactly.
god.
like, they suck at
Yes.
prioritizing too.
Yeah, they have no idea which one is more important than the other. And all the other kids seem to know. They seem to know that this one's not really serious, but that one's serious. And yeah, so the neurodivergent kids, they need more context. And so I'm always telling them like, ask why. You know, that's one that's really hard for us a lot of the times. Asking why, asking for background information, but also just like, yeah, asking for your needs to be met is just, it's not, it feels like a really hard thing to do. But most of the time, somebody's willing to work with you. Maybe they won't do exactly what you want them to, but if they hear a need, any teacher wants you to succeed. You know, they don't want to see you fail. So they'll try to find some way to meet that need, even if it's an unexpected way, from your point of view.
I know this has been an episode about school and that some of the people listening might have kids, but some of them might not. And I don't know if any of them are feeling what I'm feeling, but this has been such a big translation to work as well. And has been just, I feel like, very much needed for me personally. So I'm very glad that we're all having this discussion. And I really hope that there are other people out there too who are able to either put it in their lives now or to look back at that younger version of themselves and see, how their needs weren't met. Um, but yeah,
Do you
are
have
we,
any, like, PDA specific resources on your website?
yeah,
Yeah, we touch on PDA a lot of times in our meetings and on our message boards. We don't have any PDA like coursework right now up in the classroom, but it's probably a good idea for us to put some up there. We do have a group that focuses on family and especially children every week. That's led by a nurse practitioner who's a faculty at UCLA. And she's just really wonderful at helping uh, families who have PDA children um, better connect with them. And it's yeah, it's a skill because it can be so hard.
Yeah.
So
Because you
it's one of
still
the
do
harder
need to
things to talk
maintain a
about.
good relationship despite all of the
Yeah.
butting of the heads.
When I meet with somebody who has obvious PDA, one a very extreme example might be somebody who has trouble even washing themselves or taking care of their clothes or something like that because of the PDA. I really try to get us to first thing is we're going to get our expectations really realistic here because a lot of what we do is going to fail and what we're going to do right is we're just going to keep trying, you know. And it's the same thing if I'm working with parents of PDAers. I say, you have to be ready to try some things out that aren't going to work, because it's the only way that you can do it is to recognize that you just have to keep getting up and trying. um, and then like you feel like you make a breakthrough and then it only works 2 times or whatever. It's very hard. It's very hard.
Everybody's had, like, a task list system that was like that, though, that they'd spent
Yeah.
all this time and they set it up and they finally got it, and then it worked for, like, 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Exactly.
we beat ourselves up about that, but, it's just data. It's just,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, that
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
Now we
colossal,
know.
like that was entertaining for a time," you know? "Oh, we really saw a lot of engagement around this piece."
Yeah.
And letting go of that can be tough, like sunk cost fallacy adjacent feelings. Like it can be
Yeah.
hard to let that go, but it's all part yeah, it's learning is not efficient, like we were saying before. So
Yeah. Well, I
yeah.
mean, like, my youngest daughter is very PDA, and an example would be, like, if you say something like, "Oh, can you please pick up your shoes?" It'll be, "I was going to, but now I'm not going to," you know? So you have to be really careful with that kinda stuff, but one of my oldest kid figured out at some point, if you whisper something to her, it doesn't trigger her PDA.
Huh.
If you say, "Hey, can you go, na, 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 and let the dogs do this and that, and then take care of them out there?" She'll do it. Like, happily. And so she was told all of this, and I said, "Listen, guys, we are not gonna abuse this power." I was like, "Do you understand me? We are not abuse." I was like, "We are gonna
Yeah.
pick and choose when we
Yep.
do this," because
That's so good.
you don't want her to catch on
Yeah.
some level, and you just have to be very gentle with the things that work and recognize that, and one thing I told all of her siblings, I said, "Listen, if she goes and like she does these little projects, makes stuff out of paper and cuts things up and whatnot. And they'll be like, God, she made such a mess. And I say, if the mess bothers you, it's your mess now. Like that's as simple as it gets. Like
Yeah.
we cannot talk her into cleaning up the mess. It's to me, it's better that she does the projects than feel shame about the mess and stop doing the projects.
Mhm.
So it yeah, oh, it's enabling, but I'm enabling the art to happen, and we'll
Mhm.
work on the mess later. But if it's something that's bothering you, it's yours to clean up now.
Mhm.
And it's hard for people to recognize that I have more responsibilities than she does, and that's kind of how it has to be right now. You know, to see that this is a long picture, it's a long game. It's not always going to be this way.
Hmm. That was really good. That was very valuable.
Well, then, I guess before we wrap this up, um, you should plug your book again if you want, get some socials. Where can people
Yeah, where are
find
you gonna
you?
be?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, The Autistic's Guide to Self-Discovery. It's available anywhere books are sold. And you can find me at professorsoul.com. You can come join the NeuroSpicy community at neurospicycommunity.com. And I'm up on TikTok at Professor Soul. And I'm over at Instagram, and it's at the Professor Soul.
Wow.
And yeah, I'd love to connect. I like to try to answer questions. And I like to be interactive with people. So it's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for being here. Um, I did think of, like, a final fun question that I could ask,
Okay.
because I was feeling really, like, I don't know, I just wanted to end with something
Yeah.
fun and light.
Okay. Let's do it.
So I'm curious, what is your favorite ice cream flavor? Or, like, top 3 if you have to?
Mm,
Okay. There used to be this ice cream flavor at Disneyland on Main Street called Fantasia.
mm,
And it was at this little ice cream joint called the Gibson Girl. And it was this bunch of swirls of different colors. And my dad once said that it would have been called Tutti Frutti in the 60s. So I
Mhm.
think that it was like there was like a cherry and a pistachio and a chocolate or something. And that
Huh.
was just my all-time favorite. It was just a really weird sort of mix of stuff. Um, and so I'm cheating by citing that one. Um, but other than
You
that,
were so quick with it though, too. You knew the answer to that question. That's
Right
awesome.
away. Yeah.
yeah, it was really good. And I heard that they brought it back for a little while. And I was living out of state, so I couldn't go visit it and try it, which is no, disappointing.
Yeah.
But spumoni is something
Okay.
kind of like it.
That's that. I was like thinking that. I'm like, oh, if he hasn't tried it, he might like it because
Yeah,
it's
yeah, I
similar.
really
Yeah.
like spumoni. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is sort of similar.
Yeah.
I think I like the things like that because the different tastes set the other ones off, because otherwise you sort of grow sort of callous to the taste.
Like it's a little bit normalized, like desensitized
Yeah,
to
it
like
gets
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Sarah, I feel like I've asked you this before, but what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Gosh, I don't know, but right now I'm really missing cookies and cream as a
Mm,
celiac person,
Yeah.
or even
mm.
mint cookies and cream, cookie dough also. Anyway, I just need to make my own ice cream and then I could put my own gluten-free Oreos in, but that's a whole production and I'm just
Yeah.
a person.
You just want to go to the store and
Could
grab a
you
little
get
pint.
Yeah, could you get, like, vanilla ice cream and just crush the Oreos into that? Like at Cold Stone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I
Could you give them
could.
your Oreos at Cold Stone and have them
Yeah.
do it?
Could you just put these in
Actually,
there?
so fun fact, my very first job was Cold Stone.
Was it
So,
really?
No.
yeah, so
Wow.
I don't even need to go there. If I wanna replicate it at home, I'll
You know
do
how to
my
do it.
best. I've got the
Yeah.
things,
Wow.
actually. Yeah,
Nice.
just
Like
totally
you have
randomly.
like
I've
the
got something that will work. I've got, like, a mortar and pestle, which I could put
Sarah.
in the freezer. It's like a s Did you say what's that?
No, I said Sarah. I know what a
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
sorry.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
your weekend is set,
I
Sarah.
know.
This
Your
is
Oh.
plans are
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
My husband might kill me if I put ice cream in the mortar and pestle, but,
Yeah.
not literally.
Yeah. Well, I hope
Yeah,
not,
got
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so okay, awesome. Wait, so JQ, what's your favorite ice cream?
Mm. See, like when you were talking about cookies and cream, like mint cookies and cream or chocolate cookies and cream, really good. Um, but I also really like there was this one ice cream place, like a town away. It was a Carvel, but for some reason the ice cream tasted like way better than a normal Carvel. Like I don't know what it was about this Carvel, but like it looked different and it tasted way better. Shout out Mount Kisco Carvel. Whatever you're doing, great job. And they had
Fairies.
like these yeah, they had these, like, special flavors, and one of them was, like it was, like, called, like, midnight chocolate like, the word midnight was in there, but it was dark chocolate ice cream with, like, hot fudge kinda swirls in it, and like, the crumbly stuff that you get in a Carvel ice cream cake?
Yes.
Those were in there, and it's so
Peach.
good! That has to be all-time favorite. So good.
I loved those chocolate
S My
crunchies.
family, we would get extra ones on the side so we could put more on. So,
Well,
yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry about all of this. Now I
Now we're all just gonna go to ice cream tonight,
Yep.
definitely.
Yep.
Yeah,
But thank you so much again, Sold. It was really awesome to meet you and talk with you.
Yeah.
also,
This is
Yeah.
anyone else who's listening, please feel free to, drop your favorite ice
Oh my
cream
gosh,
below in the
yes.
comments.
Please.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
No, thank you
super.
guys very much for
Yeah,
having me, and it's really nice to meet you.
yeah.
And yeah, you guys are doing good work. I'm a big fan of the show.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So are you.
Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah,
Bye.
we'll see you for our next semi-annual episode
Awesome.
here
Let's do
on
it.
the Neurodivergent Report.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for being here. If you want to connect with the Neurodivergent Report, you can find us at ND Report Pod on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky, Substack, etc.
If you're looking to support the show, the best thing you can do is subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Please do that.
And hey, if you want to check out more about us, visit our website at ndreportpod.com. And you can also go there if you want to be a guest contributor on the show.
Until next time, be well, do good.
Bye.